Welcome back to McGill Aspire team. Boy, you've made us proud. How exciting was that?
Very exciting.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, no.
Let's take a look at the announcement from President Clinton in New York City, where the big news came that you've won.
The awarding of this Hult Prize and the contest.
All I have to do is announce the winner. From McGill University, Aspire.
That was a long pause. What was going through your mind, Shabita, when that long pause and then he says your name?
I was definitely taken aback a little bit. It was a surreal experience. There was a little bit of surprise and just a lot of excitement.
That was fantastic.
Yeah.
So after this, you're in New York City. What did you do after that? I guess the Hult people had you in front of lots of media. What else did you do?
Yeah, we took advantage of the fact that we were allowed to attend the rest of the Clinton Global Initiative annual meeting, and so tried to do some networking as well as some learning. So there were a lot of people there who have worked in social entrepreneurship and tried to address global challenges, so learn from them and network with them, and yes, there was a lot of media.
Now, of course, your whole premise is farming insects.
Right.
Right? And I guess that comes with a little bit of resistance or surprise from some people. In fact, even President Clinton had a little comment to make about that himself. We'll check that. Look at Shabita's trying to find a spot to get in. What was that moment like?
Well, I was just laughing because I had forgotten that I went to bite the trophy.
That's what you did. We were wondering.
Yes.
So President Clinton makes a little quip.
If I said to somebody 60 days ago, I love this prize and I'm going to go give the prize this year to someone who wants to grow, process, and sell edible insects, to actually empower rather than devour urban communities, some people would laugh.
So some people laughed, Mohammed. How hard is a sell to tell people that you're going to farm insects?
Yeah, I mean, it's a hard sell when you're speaking to an audience of people who do not consume insects traditionally or even currently. But I mean, when you go to Thailand, insects are food. So it's not really, there's no novelty involved. So, and I think that was our challenge, the fact that even though we are addressing a population of people who already consume insects, the audience that we're talking to nevertheless are people who, have their own experiences that they necessarily will rely upon. And it is hard to try to cross that barrier, but a lot of people, especially people on the panel, themselves have experiences and backgrounds where they've come up with ideas that were iconoclastic or revolutionary or against the tide. So they were able to relate to this novelty, and even though there may be a visceral reaction people have personally to it, they can see the opportunity and recognize it.
Now, you're all MBA students. You also have your medical degree. Tell us from a nutrition point of view, why are insects a good alternative to other forms of protein?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of the things that's recognized by the United Nations FAO is that if you were to compare an equivalent amount of insect protein to beef, you'll find that they have a comparable amount of protein and a substantially higher amount of micronutrients. And it's not just that they're nutritious to eat, they're excellent for the environment and eco-friendly. So again, comparing insect protein to protein from traditional livestock, it takes drastically less land, feed, water, and actually they emit a negligible amount of greenhouse gas emissions. So overall, it has an incredible resume as a potential, an alternative source of protein.
Do you guys ever foresee it being popular or even available widely in North America?
Although our market initially is definitely not North America at this time, we're focusing on people in urban slums and more developing countries. This year alone there have been 3 startups in the United States that have developed, cricket fortified products and protein bars, things of that nature. The United Nations FAO report that came out in March was a huge success, and it really brought to light the importance of insects as a potential source of protein. And that's just in North America. I mean, if you look at other developed countries in Europe, like Belgium, France, and even the Netherlands, there already is a very strong market for insect consumption there. France is one of the largest importers of edible insects in the world, along with the Netherlands, which has one of the greatest farming facilities.
Interesting. Well, not only did you go to New York City, but you spent the summer in Boston. Started out with 10,000 applicants. Mm-hmm. It's pretty incredible. Down to 250 teams. They whittle that down in the regionals to 6 teams. Your 6 teams get to go to Cambridge and really work with some professionals. You were at an Accelerator, and you're working with people who can help you refine your business plan. Here are some shots of the Accelerator this summer. So Gabe, tell us a little bit, what was that like for you to work with these professionals, and what was some of the best advice that you got for your business plan?
To give you a sense of what the Accelerator was like, we were there for 6 weeks with these 6 other teams of people who were really focused on their projects, really good ideas. It was inspirational being with all those other teams. And then we were surrounded by professionals, experienced professionals. So we were at the IXL Center, based out of Boston. And they brought in other social entrepreneurs. They brought in former prize winners. They brought people from Africa who run who've done some
Did this
entrepreneurship
really
activity
change your
there.
plan?
I think it really changed our structure. Our plan changed when we got on the ground and we did research in the slums. Our structure changed in there. They did have great ideas. They told us that we should pilot early and often. So we had been thinking of a fairly broad, large-scale pilot, and they said, no, just throw as little money as you possibly can, just get a few people in there, get something going, see how it works, and then you can iterate. And I think that's a really, really important piece of advice for startups. Start really early, start really small, so it's not expensive, doesn't take up a lot of your resources, and then start iterating, because you start learning immediately. Before you've even started, you're learning things. And you can start changing and developing and refining your idea. And being able to do that really helped us get a much better grasp of the situation locally in the areas we're planning to go, and be prepared to give them something that actually fit their needs instead of what we thought fit their needs.
Now you're targeting food insecurity in urban slums.
That's right.
What are some of the biggest challenges you face? These are some areas or in countries where the politics are unstable. What are your biggest challenges?
Yeah, so there are a lot of challenges. Part of it actually goes to what Mohammed was speaking to, the challenges of getting support here in the developed countries where people just aren't familiar with eating insects, and so you do get a lot of pushback from people who think that we're trying to force people who are low-income people to eat insects. But really what we're looking to do is find a way to enable people to get access to the food that they already want and they already eat. Some of the challenges involve basic science and biology challenges. We're looking at insects that some of them are seasonal, and we're trying to take them from being available once a year to being available year-round. So not unlike getting hothouse tomatoes in the middle of the winter. It's a great thing if you can get it, but how do you do that?
So you mentioned the importance of being in the field and refining your plan, and I noticed there's lots of photos of you, Zev, in the field. You guys went to Thailand over the summer. I know you were in Thailand. Here's some shots of the farming that they do there. So already it's established, but pretty rudimentary. Mm-hmm. How was seeing these images, and now you're in Africa, Zev, and you're working with farmers there. Mm-hmm. Tell us about the working with the people and the people that you met. What did you learn from that?
Yeah, so we got on the ground to work directly with people in Ghana and in Kenya. And some of the photos there, some of them were from Kenya, where we had visited a Western Kenyan university that was doing a pilot already of farming. And so we went to investigate these farms, and they were really enthusiastic about the idea. And we visited, I guess, something like 25 farmers that expressed real interest in our idea, and it was just really great to connect with them on a personal level.
And you went to urban slums? Mm-hmm. What was it like visiting the urban slums? What kind of impact did that have on you?
Well, the case that we were supposed to be solving was specific about urban and peri-urban slums, and so it really wouldn't have been complete, for our research without a visit to those places. In particular, the slum in Kenya, I guess what really impressed upon me was how entrepreneurial it really is there. If you want to eat and make a living, you will find work, and you will do something. So there are a lot of these stalls, a lot of people who do delivery, people who just do all manners of kind of small things to go from day to day, and actually that really fit very well with our model, because we want to empower people to make decisions about what they can grow and what they can do. What didn't fit as well was in the urban slums there really isn't much of a space for each person to live, and the idea that you might want to have livestock, or in our case, micro livestock, living in a sort of an 8x8 room with you, it sounds a lot better in theory than it looked in practice.
So how do you address that?
Well, we moved, I mean, this is what Gabe was saying during our time in Boston. We moved our model to using peri-urban and rural farmers to generate production, which comes from a slightly different angle in that these are people that might emigrate to the slums in order to find more opportunities. And instead, we're giving them opportunities in rural areas. In addition, some of these farmers battle with issues like drought or maize lethal necrosis, which can affect their income stability and income stream. And so again, offering another opportunity to have a stable source of income, that was part of their excitement when we spoke with them.
When I look at the photos here, and you're, here's a market, so what you're saying is certainly places in the world do very much already eat insects. That must have been striking for all of you and encouraging. And then the people that you met in Mexico. Tell us a bit about some of the people you've met there.
Well, in Mexico, what really impressed upon me is how much they work and drive vehicles to deliver the product to market. It's a very inefficient cottage industry based around harvesting, and yet there are so many people that do this because it's one of the better opportunities available for the part of the year where grasshoppers can be seasonally harvested. And they're very industrious, and absolutely they wanted to be able to farm them instead. It wasn't that they harvested grasshoppers because it was a personal passion. It was a business, and it was the best opportunity available.
Well, I guess one of the questions everybody wants to know, Jesse, you're the finance guy in the group. What are you going to do with the $1 million? How does this help you?
Right. Well, it's a start for starters. We've developed a fairly robust and structured initial CapEx program that we're looking to expand on and deploy right away. As Zeb was commenting and Mohammed was commenting on, we've successfully recruited in excess of 500 peri-urban and rural farmers in Mexico, and they're eagerly awaiting their InstaFarm independent farming units. So the first leg of our CapEx program is to finalize the development and deployment of these InstaFarm units, which we're working hand in hand with our partners in the U.S. and the Netherlands. So they're near completion and deployment. Then we're involved in retrofitting existing infrastructure in the markets we're targeting. So Mexico and Ghana specifically will require some investment to get them ready for production stage. And from there, there's things like developing strategic partnerships with existing opportunities in these regions. And yeah, so we have it all laid out, and $1 million is a good start, but we'll probably require some more, and we're looking forward to expanding on our fundraising initiative.
All right, so what's next for all of you guys? Is this it full time for you? Is this the foreseeable future now? You're into bugs? What's next?
Pretty much, I think so. I think we all have degrees to finish, and so we're still working internally on how we can complete our degrees and still invest a significant proportion of our time in the business. I have to say, I think we're all just itching to get our degrees finished so we can focus on it full time and just do nothing else. But it's a difficult balance to figure out how and where we'll split that.
Yeah, and I mean, the fortunate thing is we are at McGill, where we've gotten an incredible amount of support from all of these faculties. So it's really humbling to see how proud everybody is of this achievement, and this recognition that this is a very unique case scenario, that students normally don't have businesses that they're starting that are international and global scale while they're finishing degrees. So there's an immense amount of accommodation that we're all fortunate to have from these different faculties who see the value in what we're doing and really want to help us be able to structure both and do both and really contribute to our project without having to compromise on either. We're in fact going to also be presenting at the upcoming Global Food Security Conference that's going to be hosted here at McGill, and we're really looking forward to continue to working and nourishing this project with the McGill community and for the McGill community.
Well, we are very proud of you all. So congratulations. It was just so much fun to watch you win that and go up on stage with Bill Clinton and the rest. Good luck to you in the future. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.